Have you ever wondered why sometimes a woman's choices don't align with what we usually call love? Why is it that, despite feelings of affection, her decisions may follow a completely different force? Let me ask you, have you ever seen someone walk away from a relationship where love clearly existed? Share your thoughts in the comments. You might help others see this hidden truth. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, often emphasized that beneath our emotions lies instinct, deep unconscious drives that guide behavior far more powerfully than we realize. While love is important, Jung argued that instincts such as security, survival, and meaning can often outweigh love when it comes to decision-making. For women especially, these instincts shape choices about relationships, family, and future. In this video, we'll break down the instinct that controls women more strongly than love itself. We'll connect Jung's insights with modern psychology, add real-world examples, and explore how understanding this instinct can transform the way you view attraction, relationships, and commitment. By the end, you'll see that love alone is rarely enough. There's something deeper that truly guides her choices. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, believed that beneath all human behavior lies the power of instinct. Emotions like love are powerful, but Jung argued that they are often secondary to unconscious drives that guide survival, growth, and identity. For women, this means that while love may feel central in relationships, it's not always the strongest force shaping their choices. Instinct operates silently, but it often decides where her attention and loyalty truly go. Jung saw instinct as nature's blueprint. He explained that instincts are universal patterns embedded within the collective unconscious, a shared human framework that influences behavior across cultures and time. While love is personal and varies from one relationship to another, instincts like survival, security, and reproduction are consistent. That's why a woman may walk away from someone she loves if her deeper instincts tell her the relationship isn't safe, stable, or aligned with her future. Think of a common example. A woman deeply cares for a man, but if she senses instability, financial recklessness, emotional immaturity, or lack of direction, her instinct may override her affection. Jung would say this isn't cold-heartedness, but nature asserting itself. Love might be present, but instinct whispers, "This path endangers your security." And when instinct speaks, it often has the final word. Modern psychology supports this perspective. Research shows that when women make long-term decisions, subconscious drivers like stability, health, and protection carry more weight than raw emotional attraction. This doesn't mean love is irrelevant, but rather that it must align with instinct to endure. If love and instinct clash, instinct usually wins. Jung also noted that instincts are archetypal. They represent ancient patterns. For example, the archetype of the nurturer pushes women to seek environments where care and protection can flourish. If a man cannot provide that foundation, even strong love may not be enough to hold the relationship together. This explains why some women leave relationships that appear loving, but lack alignment with their deeper needs. Another way to understand this is through conflict between the conscious and unconscious mind. Consciously, a woman may say she values love above all, but unconsciously, her instinct prioritizes survival and meaning. Over time, the unconscious tends to dominate, pulling her choices in directions she may not even fully explain. That's the power Jung wanted us to recognize. So here's a reflection. Have you ever seen a relationship end, even though love was clearly there? Chances are, instinct, whether survival, security, or self-protection, was stronger. Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help others see how instinct silently outweighs love in real life. At the core of Carl Jung's understanding of human behavior is the survival instinct. the most powerful drive that often shapes our choices more than we realize. Attraction may feel emotional, even spiritual, but beneath it lies an ancient survival mechanism. For women especially, this instinct is deeply tied to security, stability, and the protection of future generations. In other words, while love might draw her close, survival determines whether she stays. Think about this practically. A woman might be drawn to a man's charm, humor, or looks. These trigger emotional attraction. But if she senses instability, reckless habits, financial irresponsibility, or a lack of direction, her survival instinct quietly begins to resist. Even if she loves him, her deeper drive whispers, "This isn't safe." Over time, that whisper becomes stronger than her feelings, pushing her toward choices that protect her future. Jung believed these drives live in the collective unconscious, shared by all humans across cultures. That's why we see similar patterns worldwide. Women gravitating toward men who display signs of stability, strength, or leadership. Modern evolutionary psychology supports this too, showing that security and survival cues weigh heavily in attraction, often more than appearance or romance. Consider a real-life example. A woman in a relationship might say, "I love him, but I can't build a life with him." On the surface, it looks like a contradiction, but in reality her words reveal the conflict between love and survival. Affection may exist, but if her instinct senses risk, it pushes her towards safer ground. That decision isn't always conscious. It's an unconscious survival mechanism inherited from generations before her. Another angle is stress response. Studies show that when women feel unsafe or insecure in their environment, their attraction shifts. Qualities like reliability and stability suddenly become more appealing than passion alone. This isn't manipulation. It's instinct ensuring she survives and thrives even when love tempts her otherwise. Jung would argue that ignoring this survival drive is like ignoring gravity. You can pretend it doesn't exist, but it quietly shapes every choice. Love may be the melody, but survival is the drumbeat beneath it, steady and impossible to silence. Recognizing this truth allows men to see attraction not just as emotion, but as a reflection of deeper instinctive needs. So let me ask you, have you ever seen someone walk away from a relationship they clearly loved, simply because the future didn't feel secure? Share in the comments. Your reflection might help others recognize how survival silently guides choices more than love ever can. When Carl Jung spoke about instincts outweighing emotions, one of the clearest examples was the instinct for security. For women, this instinct often shapes choices in ways love alone cannot. Affection may pull her heart, but if a relationship lacks stability, financial, emotional, or spiritual, her deeper instinct will eventually push her away. This isn't selfishness, it's survival encoded into human nature. The Quran itself emphasizes security as a blessing. In Surah Quraysh 106:4, Allah reminds us that He provides food against hunger and security against fear. Just as survival requires physical safety, relationships require stability. A woman may feel strong affection for a man, but if her instinct senses a lack of protection or a chaotic future, her trust in that bond weakens. Jung would argue that her unconscious mind is simply aligning with this fundamental need. Consider a simple example. A man may be loving, fun, and deeply caring, but if he constantly changes jobs, avoids responsibility, or shows no clear vision for his life, her attraction slowly fades. She might even say, "I love you, but I can't build with you." What sounds contradictory is actually her instinct for security outweighing her affection. Without stability, love feels unsafe. Modern psychology calls this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Before love and belonging can flourish, basic needs like safety and stability must be met. Women, especially when thinking long-term, often prioritize this unconsciously. That's why traits like reliability, consistency, and discipline can sometimes be more attractive than looks or charm. Another angle is emotional security. If a man is unpredictable, quick to anger, or dismissive of her feelings, she may still love him, but feel drained. Over time, her instinct warns her that this emotional chaos threatens her well-being. In such cases, security becomes the deciding factor, not affection. Jung emphasized that instincts reveal themselves in choices, not just words. A woman may talk about love, but her actions, who she invests in, who she stays with, reveal her deeper drive for stability. This explains why many men are surprised when love isn't enough. The truth is, without security, love struggles to survive. So here's the reflection. Have you ever wondered why someone chose stability over affection, even when love seemed strong? Share your thoughts in the comments. You may help someone else see that security isn't shallow. It's instinct, and it often controls more than love ever can. Carl Jung believed that humans are not only driven by private instincts, but also by the collective pressure of society. For women, one of the strongest instincts that can outweigh love is the need for social approval and alignment with status. While love may be deeply felt, the desire to belong, to be respected, and to maintain a certain image in society often guides her choices more strongly than affection ever could. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. Throughout history, survival was closely tied to community and reputation. A woman who chose a partner that threatened her acceptance in the group risked isolation, which in ancient times could mean danger or even death. Jung would argue that this instinct is still alive today, just expressed in modern forms, through social circles, family expectations, and even online validation. Consider a real-life scenario. A woman may love a man who is kind and genuine, but if her family or peers disapprove of him because of his lack of ambition, his lifestyle, or even his social standing, she may distance herself. Love exists, but her instinct for approval whispers louder, "If I choose him, I may lose acceptance." The decision may feel cold, but from her unconscious mind, it feels like survival. Modern psychology calls this social conformity. Studies show people often adjust their choices to match group expectations, even when those choices conflict with personal desires. For women, this can mean prioritizing a partner who brings social respect, even if their emotional bond with him is weaker than with someone else. The instinct for approval provides security in the eyes of the community. This also explains why some women are drawn to men with status, influence, or recognition. It's not always shallow materialism. It's instinct responding to cues of protection, power, and social safety. A man who commands respect offers her not just love, but also a stronger position within her social environment. Jung would describe this as an archetype at work, the instinct of belonging and recognition. While love appeals to the personal self, status and approval appeal to the collective self. And because humans are social creatures, the collective often wins. So here's the question. Have you ever seen someone choose a relationship not because of love, but because it looked right in society's eyes? Share your thoughts in the comments, because understanding this hidden instinct may help others recognize why love alone is rarely the deciding factor. It's one thing to talk about instincts in theory, but the clearest way to understand them is through real-life examples. Again and again, we see situations where women genuinely love someone, yet walk away because their instincts demand it. This isn't heartlessness, it's the deeper force Carl Jung pointed to, the unconscious drive that quietly outweighs emotional attachment. Take the case of financial stability. A woman may love a man who is kind and affectionate, but if he shows no consistency in his work, no vision for the future, her instinct warns her that her security is at risk. She might stay for a while out of hope, but eventually survival outweighs affection. Her departure may confuse him. But she loved me, when in reality her instinct told her, love won't pay the price of survival. Another example is emotional safety. A man may be deeply loved, but if his temper is unpredictable or he dismisses her feelings, the relationship begins to feel unsafe. Her instinct prioritizes emotional well-being over passion. Even if she says, "I still love him," her actions, distancing, withdrawing, or leaving, show that instinct has made the final decision. Family and social approval also provide countless examples. Many men have experienced relationships where the woman's affection was real, but when her family disapproved, she eventually pulled away. Her instinct for belonging and approval outweighed her personal love. From the outside, it looks like betrayal. From Jung's perspective, it's the unconscious survival mechanism choosing collective security over individual passion. Psychology and faith both recognize this truth. Modern research shows that long-term decisions are shaped more by stability and protection than by temporary emotions. Similarly, Islam emphasizes chiwama, responsibility and protection, as a defining quality in a man's role within marriage. Love without these foundations weakens, while love, aligned with security, flourishes. These examples highlight a painful but liberating truth. If love is not supported by instinctual needs, security, safety, approval, it will not last. For men, this realization can prevent wasted years trying to fight instincts that are far stronger than feelings. The key isn't to resent these instincts, but to understand and work with them. So here's the reflection. Have you ever seen or personally lived a story where love was present but instinct ended up making the final call? Share it in the comments because your experience may help someone else finally understand why love alone is never enough. For men, one of the hardest lessons to accept is that love alone will not sustain a relationship. Carl Jung's insights, combined with both psychology and real-world experience, reveal that instinct, security, survival, approval often speaks louder than affection. If men want lasting connections, they must learn to build beyond love and address the deeper instincts that truly shape women's choices. First, this means cultivating stability. A man who is consistent in his work, his habits, and his vision creates an environment where her instinct feels safe. Love may spark attraction, but stability sustains it. Without this, affection often fades under the weight of worry. That's why women frequently prioritize men who demonstrate reliability over those who only offer charm or passion. Second, emotional control is key. A man who provides calmness, respect, and emotional security feeds into her instinct for protection. Women are far more likely to invest deeply in a relationship where their feelings are respected and their vulnerabilities are safe. Love may begin the connection, but emotional safety is what allows it to grow. Third, men must understand the role of social and family dynamics. While many men see love as a private bond, women's instincts often factor in community, reputation, and approval. Building wisely means recognizing that relationships do not exist in isolation. They are influenced by the broader social world. If you dismiss this, you risk underestimating a key part of her instinctual decision-making. From Jung's perspective, wisdom lies in integrating emotion with instinct. Men who focus only on romance ignore half the equation. But men who build stability, provide security, and respect social dynamics align themselves with her unconscious drives. In such cases, love is no longer competing with instinct. It's working in harmony with it. Consider a simple example. A man may not be the wealthiest or most charismatic, but if he offers vision, reliability, and protection, her instinct recognizes this as valuable. Love may bring her close, but his alignment with her instincts keeps her there. That's the lesson Jung exposes. Instinct is stronger than love, but if you meet instinct, love will flourish. So here's the reflection. As a man, are you building only for love, or are you building for the instincts that truly matter? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your reflection might inspire another man to see relationships with clearer eyes. Carl Jung showed us the truth that many overlook. Love is powerful, but instinct is stronger. Women may feel affection, but their deeper drives, security, stability, approval, and survival, often decide the outcome of a relationship. For men, the lesson is clear. Don't just chase love. Build the foundations that instinct demands. When love and instinct work together, the bond becomes lasting. The wise man understands that relationships are not sustained by emotions alone. They are strengthened by consistency, emotional safety, and vision. When you align with instinct, love doesn't vanish. It grows stronger because it rests on a foundation that feels safe and enduring. If this message gave you a new perspective, share your reflection in the comments. And to show me you stayed until the end, write seductive wisdom below. Your words might be the reminder someone else needs to start building beyond love.